New year, new season. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
New year, new season. I noticed it. It'd be nice to be included in creative discussions, but
Nah,
not necessary.
No, that's just production. That's that's not creative. That's just
I don't need to be involved. The talent doesn't need to be involved in that.
No. You're just along. You're on the monkey at the end of the string, dance monkey.
That's dance monkey dance, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. So we want to start this thing up or what?
I would just beat you to it.
Okay. Here we go.
All right. Okay, so
welcome again to another episode of Drake and the Maestro, almost relevant in 2025.
What was that? French horns. No, I mean before that.
Yeah, we're here for a second season. We've been renewed, and here we are.
Well, I mean, seeing as we make the decision on whether or not we renew, it was an easy decision.
Well, we consulted with ourselves, and we said, yeah, we'll go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. I consulted with myself.
Mm-hmm.
I needed an expert opinion, so I consulted with myself, and here we are.
That's right. Here we are. Okay. And we're happy to have all of you listeners along with us. Thank you for coming back for more, whatever this is.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Are you going to lead this off, or shall I?
Yeah, we'll start this thing off with a Facebook Marketplace find. I was talking to another. Okay. I was talking to one of my few friends. His name's James. I was talking to him, and we were just kind of we're talking. I'm perusing Facebook Marketplace. He's looking at Marketplace. We're looking at cars. He's from Wyoming, so his Marketplace is set in a different market than mine. So he's sending me different stuff. So I'm scrolling through, and a Plymouth Roadrunner came up. It was a 72, beautiful gray. It's got the big Plymouth graphic on the side. Got the little Roadrunner running behind it. Beautiful car. It's like $38,000. I'm like, that seems a little low for a Roadrunner of that vintage,
Maybe but not.
It's clean. It's been restored. I'm like, okay, there's got to be something wrong. Like, what's wrong with it that he's got it at this price? That's this low. I think that's like a $50,000 car, right?
You
Why
do
is
the
it
Joe
this
Dirt
low?
thing? Is it got a hammy?
So I looked. You're homing in on the problem. So I'm looking through the list. Yes, it has a 5.4 GM motor in it. I'm like,
way to kill the value.
I would almost went apoplectic. I was just enraged beyond belief. I gave the cheat show. How could you righteously do this to a car, man?
Oh my goodness!
Well, you could have just put a 318 or something.
It should be 30.
That's garbage. Yeah, because any Mopar, and that's why it's not selling. It's been up for like 6 months because any Mopar enthusiast won't buy it because it has the Chevy motor in it. You're gonna have to spend $20,000 to
All right, this LS.
I was in a whole tirade there. You cut me off. Don't start with me, old man. I'm near Minneapolis. I got good cell signal. What, am I cutting out again?
No.
Well, I can't tell. And you
I'm just going to make you self-conscious from this point.
I'll kill you later. I need direction.
Okay.
Well,
fair.
It's been up for 6 months, and it's been up that long because the Mopar guys won't buy it because it's going to take probably $20,000 to un-Chevy it. Chevy guys won't buy it because it's a Mopar chassis, and Ford guys just aren't interested anyway. So you've made a car that no one wants.
Right.
Because the Mopar guys are going to have to buy a whole nother engine, build it to their specifications, and another transmission because it's got a 4L80E behind it.
Does it have? Does it still have the fender tag, the build tag that they rivet to the driver's side fender?
I don't think so.
To the inner, if that's gone,
because the engine bay is all shaved.
Well, it's worthless then. 3,800 is too much.
You never know what motor was in it.
No, there's no way to put together a numbers matching complement. I mean, you could guess based on the year. You could guess it could be one of these. Probably.
It has a pistol grip, so he still at least kept the pistol grip. It's got a 5-speed in it.
Or he added it.
Or he put one in. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, you'd have to look at it to see.
It's
for that guy. Yeah, it's for that guy.
So
that's a word to your hot rodders. A word to your hot rodders out there. There's nothing wrong with customizing it, making it your own, but it needs to stay your own because when you go to sell it, if you're just
not getting what you put into it, and if you have the wrong combination of stuff, no one's gonna buy it. Or if it's an ugly paint job or a bad interior, that maybe you like it, maybe it's not bad to you, but it's not conventionally appealing.
Or it doesn't appeal to a niche market,
Right. Or it's
it's
a very niche market.
Yeah, like you're gonna LS swap a DeLorean. Now, I could see that because a DeLorean needs some power. That makes sense.
And the LS is a small motor; it fits in the engine bay. That makes sense. But you have a 72 Roadrunner.
Right, it's 72 Roadrunner. Now, if it's been already kind of chopped up, right? So you'll never have a numbers matching car. You go out and get yourself a police car with a 5.7 Hemi at auction, and you swap all that driveline.
At least keep it in the family.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Because I saw the intake plenum on it, and I thought, okay, maybe he's got a 5.7 on it, because it's got the 5.7 Hemis and the GM, some of the GM LS blocks have a very similar looking intake plenum from the front.
The ignition coil should give it away.
Yeah, well, the ignition, some other minor things that give it away, but when all you can see is the top of the plenum from the hood picture, because he's got like a front-on picture with the hood open, and you can just see that top domed intake plenum. I'm like, oh, maybe it's a 5.7. And then I scrolled down, it was a 5.4 GM. I'm like, why? Right. Why ruin a perfectly good car like that? I have nothing against the GM small block. It's a good engine. It just doesn't belong in a Mopar. It made me angry. And then I couldn't stop thinking about it. I wanted to buy it just to fix it.
Do we need to get to the pan flutes? Are you
no,
calm you down?
No, I'm all right. It just why? Just it's ruined. It's ruined. Thanks, I hate it.
It's a prestigious accomplishment. It's putrid.
You'll love it. It's putrid. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that takes, I used to cringe when I would see the small block Chevy in a Model A Roadster. It's like, oh, come on. Ford made a really nice little small block. Why don't you use
the
that?
351.
No, the 302.
Or the 302.
Great hot rod. Yeah, 351 modified.
He could have gone and got a 318, small block Mopar, and would have fit perfectly in the car. It'd have been period correct. You give it some EFI, some Holley EFI, like a Sniper, or
you can get
fuel tech. Go full.
You can get all kinds of heads and cams and all that for that. And if you get one, if you get one pre-1970, they got some decent compression. You could raise the compression on it. You could get 300 whatever horsepower out of it.
Yeah, make it over square.
Yeah,
but there were a lot of options there, and he went with none of them. I call those kind of car guys Bel Air enthusiasts, because they are the mindset that Chevy can do no wrong, and that the 350 Chevy was God's gift to creation.
It certainly added to it.
And there is something about the typical Bel Air owner I cannot stand as a car guy.
Right. Well, let's alienate 50% of our audience here. Nice call.
I'm sure that there's some lovely people out there that own Bel Airs, but the average Bel Air owner that I've encountered, so I'm limiting it to this people I've encountered, are generally car snobs.
Well, there's a lot of those out there.
And they all want the American Graffiti Bel Air, the black on black on black. Well, there are other colors. You don't have to be Henry Ford in the 20s.
Black with a red interior is my thing. I like that. I've seen some like that. That's pretty sharp. Silly boy. In the keeping of Facebook Marketplace, right?
Oh, what?
Your cousin is selling trying to sell her crossover.
Oh yes.
And put it up on Facebook Marketplace, right?
I already can tell where this is going, but continue.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Foreshadow for us.
It's going to be 100 messages of, is this available? And then you answer yes, and then you hear nothing else.
Well, there's that. But in this case, or
the tire kickers, or the deal seekers.
Well, you're kind of getting there. All right, I'll just put an end to the misery here.
Lay it on me.
The auto check scammers, because she's
that's an old scam.
Yeah, and it's coming back around again. So she's got Carfax? Mm-hmm. It's either Carfax or USA Auto Check. One of those two. It's one of those two, and those are pretty much it, right? USA Auto Check or Carfax. There's others, but those are pretty much the big ones. And so she's already got it.
The industry standard usually.
Yeah, and she's got it. So these people I'm really interested in, can you get this an ACP report. She's like, already got the Carfax. She's like, well, Carfax only shows the repair history. An ACP report is 10, 12 pages and shows the car's security and all that. And she's like, she sends it to me. Like, is this legitimate? And my initial reaction is red flag, red flag. I'm like, what's an ACP report? Right? So I'll spare the play-by-play. ACP is like autoscheck.com, something like that. I look it up, and it's registered in like Belarus or something in October.
You put in your information, and they steal your identity or something.
Well, they want you to pay for it. It's like $200 or something.
Gee.
It's like, I'm not even.
So
I'm not.
You pay for that, and then you go to. Okay, I got it. And they just disappear.
Right, because you don't even get the report. They just take your money and boom, gone.
Right, because they've already got it.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, I got the money. I can pay for it. You have to get this. And she's like, well, what do I do? And I said, well, just tell them that to come out and look at the vehicle, and if he likes it, then you'll talk about the report. Or tell him you can send him the VIN, and then he can do a report.
He can do it himself.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I'm not buying a report for every car I'm looking at. You have to do it. You're the seller. I'm like, I got the Carfax, so
So when you said the auto check, I was thinking of a different check. You were talking about like a check, like a check into it. I was thinking of the scam that guy tried to run on us on the Blazer back in the day.
Right.
The overpay. I'm going to overpay you, and then you can send me the money.
Right.
That scam's still going around.
Yeah, so be careful out there, people. It's a brave new 2025.
And it's a tough world out there to try to sell something to somebody.
Just before we came on the air here with the Maestro, I'm getting car warranty calls again. It's like, I thought those guys were gone. I've been inundated with the Medicare. We got a new Medicare benefit for you. I'm like, no, you don't. Yeah. Go away. What place are you? Yeah. I don't know if we should run the fishing line again in 2025, and I don't know. Anyway, there's some interesting calls coming, but now it's car warranty.
Well, you know why?
But be careful if
you're
selling. The practical portion of the story is if you're selling a car, private sale, and you're getting solicited to get a car investigation report, an inquiry report that isn't Carfax and it isn't USA Auto Check, and the seller or the buyer wants it before they'll even come and look at the car, pass. It's a scammer. All they're trying to do is get you to go to that fake website.
Screw 'em.
Right. Yeah. No, if you want as a courtesy to do a Carfax, if it's a nice car, go ahead. But do it yourself and tell them, I got it here. You can look at it when you come look at the car. This is nuts.
I know why I think I know why the car insurance cameras come back this time of year. Because cars are a big gift this time of year.
Is it?
Usually people give their spouse a new car, or their kids, or maybe a family member. So they start calling around trying to pick up somebody to try to catch them because, maybe they didn't get, it's a gift and they didn't get an extended warranty or whatever, or they're not sure about the warranty, and then they get a phone call saying, well, this is the dealer calling about such and such a car's warranty or your car's warranty. And most people don't think about it, that they don't list the car.
Yeah, they don't know. What make and model do you have? Well, you were calling me, telling me I need a warranty. So you should tell me, right?
Right.
I'm calling from the dealer. Well, great. Then you should be able to look up my records.
Right. If they just say the dealer, they're not talking. Right. Most dealers, when they call you, will tell you the dealer. It's a script.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they'll identify themselves. This is so and so.
Yeah, they identify themselves. Right. Pekin Ford or whatever. Web Dodge.
Right. Like they wanted, like when the dealer wanted to buy my van back.
Right. Or
vans were in such high demand for a while.
When I got the fat-fingered phone call because somebody had put their phone number in wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, that happened recently.
The fingers you've used to dial are too fat.
Yeah, well, they were looking at a new truck, and apparently they put their name in as Lord, and I bet you they were just looking, and they wanted more information, and the only way to get the price was to put a name and a number in.
Right.
So they just put a name in and they put a random phone number in, and so they could get the price to see what it was.
So did
So now I'm getting phone calls about
you
it.
as Lord so and so?
Yes, Lord King, actually.
Lord King. Wow, what a title!
Yeah, I got 2 titles.
Wow.
2 titles.
Are you a property owner in Scotland? Do you have a certificate?
Apparently, I did. I thought about buying one of those trees. Makes you a lord.
Is it even a whole tree? I thought it's just like a 1 foot by 1 foot square thing.
It is, and they plant the tree there.
Oh, they plant a tree. So you got trees there's somewhere in Scotland. There's trees 1 foot apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
it's a whole thing.
I think I recall. It's a whole scam thing because I recall reading an article and does Scotland have their own parliament? Whatever kind of government operation they have over there in Scotland, I don't know too much about it. Maybe the Scottish listeners can correct me. Sent out like a press release kind of thing or whatever, saying that just owning property in Scotland is not enough to be considered a lord. You have to be a property owner, but then you have to be submitted to whatever. There's all a bunch of requirements. So these certificates are just novelty.
If anybody thinks that you're actually a lord when you buy one of those things, it even tell you on the website that you're not actually a lord. Like you don't have any. It's just a title. You've been given a title. It doesn't come with any power because to become a real Scottish lord, there are benefits that come with that.
A laird, right? That would be what they would call you, a laird.
I don't know. I'm not Scottish. I think that's more Irish.
Yeah, see, I don't know. We don't have too many listeners out that way, so if you guys
if we might pick some up after we start talking about them, maybe we'll Beetlejuice them into existence there. But yeah, it's just a novelty gift. It's not that expensive, and basically what it is you're paying for the novelty certificate that says you're a lord, and what it really is a conservation effort to plant trees in Scotland and buy land there to try to create more green tree area.
Well,
Scotland.
you're helping the lord that owns the property maintain his lordship.
Well, no, there's only one company that does it that way.
I like it, because a lot of those lords and ladies are really kind of up the creek financially. Because have you ever tried to maintain a castle these days? It's expensive.
Not these days.
Yeah. Oof.
No, but there really is a company that's they plant trees and stuff on the property, and it's a small plot of land, and then each plot's so far apart, and then they plant a tree there, and then there's a little thing in the ground, staked into the ground that has your name on it.
I know. I just.
I don't know. I think it's kind of neat. I'm not going to pay for it, but I think it's at least an interesting cause, and someone is.
You'd be better off getting a star named after you, because at least that way it's officially registered.
That has about as much. That has about as much meaning as the Lord and Lady thing. The NASA doesn't follow those. They don't give a crap.
Well, then you'll have
whole
to
number and letter designation that goes with every star, and just because you paid some loser some money doesn't mean that you get to actually rename a star. It's like the guy that claimed he owned the moon and was selling land on the moon.
That's a great idea. Can we do that for Mars before Elon takes over?
I don't know. I'd rather buy property on Uranus.
Oh, all right. On that, we need a different topic. Actually, you remind me of some New Year's hijinks that was going on around my place.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. So I'm sitting in my sitting area in the front room because it's way too cold to be on the porch. Well, you'd think it would be too cold, but apparently not for this guy, right? So I catch a flash of motion out of the corner of my eye, and you know how. And the listeners, the roads, we're kind of up on a bluff, and the roads kind of descend from slightly below our property's level all the way down to where even a large truck we can't see the top of anymore because it's descending. So that's how the roads that cross our property, the boundaries are, and the one corner of our property is the roads are almost a story and a half, 2 stories below our grade.
Yeah, so there's a couple there's an alley that's really low.
Yeah, so as people come towards us, they disappear basically because they go down into that low because they're following the road.
And then they come back up.
Right. So out of the corner of my eye, disappearing down into the road, I see the naked torso of a man.
Well, you know.
And my neighbor calls me. He's like, "I see the naked guy." I'm like, what?
Only the top half, thankfully.
So then he turns around, he comes back, and then he's banging on the door of the local, should we call it the local import-export business across the road from us?
The den of iniquity.
Yeah. And he's banging and dancing around. Well, thank goodness he's got shorts on. But that happened. So I call the police. I'm like, there's a naked guy running around town. And even the dispatcher's like, say what now? Usually the dispatcher's pretty oh yeah, it's you guys again. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you're calling again, old man.
So he's dancing around and he's banging on the door and whatever. And then he takes off and streaks back across the other side of town. And believe it or not, the police did show up and talk to him. You know,
what are you doing?
So, yeah, basically, I thought I saw a New Year's streaker. It's like, phew, I'm like, what in the? So
the Blue Blazes.
I'm thinking that he had a sudden need to go out and get some product, if you know what I'm saying, right?
Or he was in the house and used a certain product and then decided to go for a run and realized he was locked out of the house.
Well, that wasn't where he came from.
Just wearing shorts.
It wasn't where he came from. Well, bro.
Well, you know, when
he came from across.
When the duty calls, you must answer. I guess.
I don't know. That was just like what was that? Ray Stevens comes to mind. Anyway, so got that video on security camera. I can show it to you. It's kind of funny.
Oh, I don't know about that.
And he's definitely got ants in the pants. He's just like he's staggering and dancing around. It's like, oh my gosh, this guy is like he's gonna...
I watched a couple movies you recommended. Not Death Flight. I'm not watching that.
Death Flight.
There's not enough death in Death Flight for me to watch it.
Oh, yeah, that's something else we got to do. We got 2005 season 2 corrections to 2024 season 1. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get there after this.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched 2 Jason Statham movies. One of them you recommended, and one of them I don't think you've seen yet, or maybe you have and just haven't told me. I watched The Beekeeper, which was John Wick. It was John Wick starring Jason Statham.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
And then I watched Wrath of Man.
Oh yeah, seen that one too.
Oh, it's just also good.
Yeah.
Both good movies. I feel like Jason Statham has gotten on the angry male protagonist train.
Hey, you know what? Both
those movies have a very similar plot with minor changes in details.
Yeah, as long as it pays. I mean, he was a male model.
Yeah.
And he was having trouble with it, I guess. And someone said you need to scowl more. Because he was trying to be, pretty boy.
Happy.
Whatever, right. And I said, no, it's just like Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee. And Bruce Lee says, Chuck, less talking, more punching. And Norris' career took off.
Less talking, more action.
Right. And in this case, it's like, no, less smiling, more scowling.
More angry white man.
Right. And then his career took off. So,
yeah, well,
It just goes with my wife saying, know what you do and do it. You know what I mean? Don't try to over diversify or what. No. If you're a person or a business, know what it is, know what your thing is, and do your thing. Don't try to be 13 other things.
I definitely feel like The Beekeeper was set up to have sequels.
Well, maybe.
There's a possibility because he gets away in the end. And he escapes into the ocean.
You're ruining the end for people. You should have said spoilers.
It's a movie that's been out for almost 2 years. Who cares? If you haven't seen it by now, that's on you.
Okay.
My thing for spoilers is 6 months. You have 6 months to go see the thing. If you really want to see it that bad and you care about spoilers that bad, you have 6 months to go see it. After that, I don't care anymore.
So you have the 3-second rule for changing lanes. You have the spoilers rules for movie. I like it. We'll add that.
Well, everything's got to have rules. Everything's got to have
6 months spoiler rule. That's good. No, that's good. I like it.
It's different for different people. Some people have, no spoiler time limit, but I have, there are some movies that I'd like to see that I haven't seen that have come out that, I don't want ruined, but at the same time, I don't feel like that's a big twist in the movie.
I was hoping he would hop on a plane and go to India and start, smashing
no, that was
call centers in Hyderabad. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that was great. They tackled the American version, which isn't not a lot of American. I mean, it was a cool movie. The plot was a little thin, but the premise was a little thin, but it's okay. It got to the action, and I appreciate that. It got to the action pretty quickly.
I would just like to see it redone realistically, where he goes to the call center in Hyderabad and touches the untouchables. Because the Indian police are on the take. The call centers pay them off to not raid them and do whatever.
Well, that was kind of the plot of that movie too. Was that the call centers were embedded in the CIA and they were running CIA software.
Since we're going to spoil the movie, that's because
for over a year.
That's because the guy running the whole gig, got his mother elected as the president. So,
Oh, right. Well, he developed the software. So then he realized he could make money.
Right. So it's CIA software, and then it goes crazy, and then they start stealing, and yeah.
See, it was
okay. It was okay. It's not like it's a Steven Seagal production of Steven Seagal by Steven Seagal. Yeah.
Right. It doesn't have Jason Statham fatly going around corners.
No, it's good. It was good. It definitely had the kind of satisfaction factor that you watch that kind of movie for, which is good. But I would have liked to have seen them deal with hardcore with the overseas people. That would be a whole different movie, but doggone it.
I think they didn't. I don't think they did that because of political stuff.
You ready to correct some of the stuff from 2024?
Yeah, let's do some corrections here. I like this.
We got phone call and letter.
We got phone call and letter.
Yeah, and some of the persists around a movie, right? We were talking about a Christmas Story movie. It was okay.
I have a correction for that as well.
Okay, well, you start with yours.
We'll see what yours is, because I wonder if yours is the same as mine.
All right, start with yours. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, well, mine was I had listened to a completely different podcast, and they talked about the radio, like the invention of the radio, and when it came into popularity. And it didn't come into popularity until the 40s.
Right.
Like it was like 1930 something when most houses had a radio in their house. So that means that movie was set.
The big popular Philcos that I have in my collection are all late 30s.
Right. And so it was like 39. I think the exact year was like 38 or 39 when 75% of households had a radio. So that means
it was still big. It was still a big deal.
Sometime in the 40s.
Right. Well, here you go. That's right. Then that's what the letter talks about here. Okay. Wizard of Oz is 1939, okay? But the Little Orphan Annie decoder ring, that would be 1940. The calendar on the wall during the first dinner sequence has December 1st on a Friday, which happened in 39. Bing Crosby's version of Santa Claus is Coming to Town, however, was released in 43.
So I was right. I said 30s, 40s, and you said no, it's the 20s.
No, I said it has elements of 20s. To go back and listen to that podcast.
Right, but they were recycling stuff from the era.
And some of in the scene where the kid's got his tongue stuck on the flagpole, that police car is early that shows up. So I guess we just leave it at early 40s.
Somewhere in the early 40s.
Just when. And by the way, there's a Maestro correction. We didn't enter the war in the mid 40s. We entered the war early 40s, right? Not about 1940. Anyway, so this is right.
41.
This is
42.
right. Yeah, this is right as we were getting drawn into World War II. So early 40s. So let it be written. So let it be done.
Let it be done. So let it be known.
Mm-hmm. And the movie referenced, the airplane disaster movie that I referenced, Death Flight, was not the one where they were trapped in outer space.
Oh, you didn't say that. That was
no.
You said it was
Death Flight. Right, it was a different movie. So I just, some listeners didn't pick that up. And it was about COVID on a plane. It was basically, like snakes on a plane, except it was COVID on a plane.
Oh.
Only it wasn't COVID.
It was the flu.
It was some deadly, they were transporting COVID, and then the containers broke open in the cargo hold, right?
Was it the avian flu?
It was, whatever it was some deadly thing that they're experimenting with, and it was in these specially sealed containers, and they held the flight up so they could get these special cargo things on the cargo bay, and then they broke open during the flight, and everybody starts cacking, which is why it's called Death Flight.
That makes... See, we didn't cover the plot of Death Flight. We just covered the name. There is death in Death Flight.
Right, the people that were on it.
Just...
Oh, yeah. There's lots of death in Death Flight. And that's why it's named Death Flight.
Death Flight.
Yeah.
Well, you got to say that like you're a monster truck announcer.
Or that guy that does the let's get ready to rumble.
Oh, yeah. I forget his name.
Right. In a world
where there's... His name. Well, actually, that guy's now... I know that guy's name now. His name is Pete Guffist. He's a blind TikToker.
So I guess technically, and that's another thing.
Technically.
It's not the original Death Flight either. That's another correction I got. It's SST Death Flight.
Oh. What movie nerds did we tick off?
I don't know, a bunch of them. And then they wanted to correct on all the stars. Barbara Anderson, which you wouldn't know, but if you saw her, she was kind of a very attractive blonde who's in... Oh, it's her in that movie, yeah. Bert Convy. Okay, Peter Graves, Mission Impossible, right? The original. Lauren Green. No, not the Tom Cruise one. The original Mission Impossible, Peter Graves. Peter Graves did lots of other stuff, but yeah. Lauren Green, the father from Bonanza, among other things. He was also on the original Battle.
When he was always real tired.
Oh, that was... Another son looked like a Palestinian. I'm going to take off some more people, too. All right, so he's in there. I said Tina Louise, so the people can leave me alone. Tina Louise was in there.
Okay.
Doug McClure is in there.
Doug McClure.
I'm Doug McClure. Doug McClure was everywhere back in the day. Burgess Meredith, who I did mention. Brock Peters, your token black guy from the era. And he's the doctor. So,
Was he a jive doctor?
Dr. Ralph Thurman. Right. No. Martin Milner, which you don't know. Robert Reed. Of course, we talked about Robert Reed. Billy Crystal.
The dad from the Brady Bunch?
Robert Reed.
Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal, before starting out live, when he's just a really young starting actor, was in there.
Was he trying to be a serious actor at the time?
Yes, he was.
Oh, okay.
Regis Philbin.
Stuck to comedy. Really young Regis Philbin.
Yes, that's right. Really young Regis Philbin.
Pre Who Wants to Be a Millionaire fame.
Right. Robert Ho, who you wouldn't necessarily know him by name, but he's been in all kinds of stuff.
I probably know him by sight.
He was in... You would know him by sight. He's been on Buckaroo Banzai. He's been on Quincy. He's your token Asian guy.
Okay. Right. Well, the era. He's the token Asian guy of the era. Right. He's that guy. That guy.
Yeah.
He's the Luis Guzman of the 60s.
So we had there apparently, like I say, the movie people struck back, and I had to make those additions. Okay. And then
we're not above correcting ourselves.
No, we accept admonishment because you know what? We're just a couple of knuckleheads. We're talking for fun.
What do we know? Nothing.
So we don't know anything. We sound like we might know something from time to time, and we have some experience, especially in the driving professionally and technology realm, and automobile repair, and motorcycle maintenance, and Zen. No, wait, hold on. No,
there's none of that here.
Which was an interesting book that I read a long time ago, Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. Which I don't know.
It teaches you now how not to throw wrenches.
It's, you know what? If you can get it on, I know you don't like actually reading words on pages, but if you can get it in one of your bookcast things, you might want to. I read it decades ago, and I'm still not sure what I read. So there you go. That's something. Right?
I've read a few of those. I've listened to a few of those. Like, is this a fever dream? Am I? What's happening?
Am I having it? And of course, at my age, am I having a stroke? Did everything taste purple for a second?
I've listened to a couple books that they're written in a non-linear fashion where like stuff happens and then other stuff happens, and then there's a like that's what was it? Was it family? It was one of the family vacations where she's like, "There's a flash forward, there's a flash backward. I think there's a flash sideways."
Yeah.
Right. I've listened to a couple books that feel like that. It's just I don't know what's happening anymore. I've lost the plot. I don't know where the characters are in relation to each other.
He's trying to write the great American novel. His wife is reading it. She's like, oh.
She doesn't want to tell him it's terrible, but she can't stop herself.
Right.
Because it's really
so
that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Zen and the art of motorcycle. Zen and the art of motorcycle maintenance.
Okay, I'll have to see if I can find
the one thing that still bugs me, or not bugs me, but still gets in my head, is at the end he's becoming more and more Zen, and he's learning how to swim in the solid earth. It's really very Although I think I'd rather watch the movie that we made up with the aliens and the art and the
I'd much rather watch that. I watched several movies last night. I watched several movies over yesterday because I was down for New Year's Day. And
right. Oh, I tell you what, and New Year's, of course. Well, this is the New Year's. Last week I watched New Year's Eve, and you know what?
Yes.
I tried New Year's Rockin' Eve, right?
I don't know. Clark. You should have watched. There was some comedian on there towards the end or in the middle. I don't know. I've seen clips of it. I've seen several clips of it, and she's really funny. Yeah,
I saw that with the CNN guys.
She was hilarious.
Just ripping. She was ripping them. Yeah. Now I figured if I couldn't do it though. I couldn't do. I unfortunately I don't relate to any of the people on stage. Right. I
also don't, and I'm their target. I don't, and I'm their target demographic as far as
they
age
need to
range.
try. So I went over and I watched the Nashville one because Central Time, because the whole podcast here we're focused on Central Time.
Central Time is the best.
Not that the other time. Not it is. Not the other time zones are bad, but Central Time is the best.
No, it's just Central Time, every other time zone. That's just how it works.
That's right. So the Nashville one was on Central Time. And I'm like, oh, that lines up with me. So I was watching that. That was so much better than Dick Clark's.
This lines up with my personal beliefs.
Right. And I don't even think it's Dick Clark anymore. It's just called New Year's Rockin' Eve. And
yeah, because Dick Clark is so far gone from the public zeitgeist that no one knows who that is.
Right. And the Nashville one, instead of dropping a big LED sphere, they dropped a big musical note.
That tracks for Nashville.
Yeah, it tracks for Nashville. So they dropped the bass for New Year's. Cool, right? And then I tell you what, I've never heard. No, it was actually a treble, but whatever.
Well, they missed an opportunity there.
I know they should have had I think it was mechanical, right? So if you have the staff going down, then it's going to hit the awning, and and whatever. Okay,
well, just move the awning.
Can we move on?
Anyway. Yeah, we can move on. It's fine.
Well, to tell you how much better, in my opinion, it was, I'm watching the New Year's Rockin' Eve in New York, and I'm having Macy's Thanksgiving Parade flashback. Right?
Ugh.
I mean, I'm starting to take shaky drags out of my cigarette, going.
Someone on the 50.
Right. So I can't take this. So I hit the record button on the DVR and said, if there's anything important, it'll record, and I'll just go skip to it and whatever. Because I cannot take this. But okay. I can't take this linear fashion. So then I went over to the Nashville, and then went over to the Nashville one. It was much, much better, and I discovered a new artist that I think I want to buy some of his music. And you probably know about him. I kind of knew the name, but I've never seen him perform. Jelly Roll?
Oh yeah, I've actually been told I look kind of like Jelly Roll and also talk like him.
Yeah, there's a certain definite resemblance. I mean, if they had told the audience the Maestro, they would have been okay. Yeah, okay, that's what that guy looks like. Yeah, it would have been.
It's me if I had gone to prison
and sold drugs and stuff. Yes,
right. Like I said, it's me.
And then got some face tattoos and
right. Gone to prison. You're just repeating yourself.
Right. He's definitely in the Walrus Club. He's definitely in the Walrus Club. Yeah. And
that guy could murder a buffet.
And probably has. It's in his rap sheet.
Buffet murder.
But no, he was really good.
He's really good.
And he had He's got a really good stage presence. He seems to be more on the humble side rather than these other pop stars that are full of themselves.
Yeah,
I can't say that for sure. I'm just saying that's how he appears. I know he used to be a rap guy.
Well, and he made his career off of YouTube.
Really?
He wasn't. Yeah, he's not a found star as in someone propped him up. Some music. He was out performing in some music executive.
No, I mean he was. I know he was doing. He was doing mixes and raps starting when he was 13. Because I looked him up. I looked up his bio, and then his mother was an addict. His mother was an addict. His father took off.
His father was a hamster. Smelled of elderberries.
He started dealing to help to put food on the table, kind of stuff, and then got busted, and then he started. But he did do a collaboration with some popular rapper. I don't know who. Lil Wayne or something. I don't know. And then of course now we're gonna get the admonishments from the rap community. Bring it on. I'm an old guy.
We'll fight all of you. We'll fight you all.
It was rather enjoyable watching them, and what they did for the Nashville one was they switched to different Nashville hotspots for different stages to get different artists. So every artist had a chance to set up, do a sound check, get it all right, and then you got to see different flavor rather than just different pop stars taking the stage in New York City,
getting hurried on and off stage and probably while to their track.
These vacuous people yammer on, filling for time and vamping while they set the stage for the new group.
That's my new metal group. I've just come up with a new metal group with a shtick.
All right.
Well, it looks like some singers have custom mic stands that look like a thing.
We know
Korn
singers like
has that weird. We had one that had a chain. It was all chain. All welded together. Korn has that big silver statue thing. I've seen one that looks like a spine. The name of the band is Vacuous, and the mic stand for the singer is a vacuum, just a regular upright vacuum. That's it. That's the shtick. That's the joke. That's the joke.
Which end does he sing into?
The bottom. He's not singing into the handle. The vacuum is upside down. He's singing into the bottom of the vacuum.
That's kind of like ZZ Top. You remember one of their tours? Their mic stands
they had the tubes. They were supposed to look like smokestacks, for a semi.
They look like smokestacks from a semi.
Like vacuum tubes. They were traversing the tube.
That's the hose. Get it right.
Sorry, traversing the hose. Right, you're correct. Yeah. You are correct. Technically correct. The best kind of correct.
We'll have to see. Now, I don't know if I broke this to you, but our list of band names, Microsoft deleted.
No.
Yes, they did.
No.
Yes, when they were trying to sell me.
We've been working on that for years.
Right. They were trying to sell me the extra storage space on OneDrive.
Yeah.
And I said no. I repeatedly said no. I'm only using 60% of what I've got. Why do I need more? Right?
They punished you?
Apparently, because they said, well, we'll just clean up the files you're not using. I said, no, don't know. So they wiped out. They wiped out some of my household records and all kinds of stuff. It's like, what are you?
That is the danger of the cloud storage.
Yeah. So there you go, listeners. Think twice about your cloud storage.
Now I got to look and see if I have it somewhere saved.
Yeah, take a look. Otherwise, we could do a podcast of just recreating the band names. Of course, no one wants to listen to that, I guess.
I know some of them. I remember some of them.
I've restarted it from what I can remember, but
okay, we'll have to go off. We'll have to go over that off air, and I'll add anyone that I don't remember, that I remember that maybe aren't there.
Yeah. So devastating.
Yes.
And terrible. On that devastating note,
my day
it's time to auger this thing in. I know. Well, you ruined it at the beginning. I ruined it at the end. There you go.
That's what's happened here.
It is indeed. And keep those comments coming. Corrections. Like
Please.
I say, we're just a bunch of knuckleheads.
We don't know nothing.
We'll take it in mind. The amount of feedback from the whole space thing about how space works and orbit and reentry and orbit heights. Oh my gosh, there's just so much I can't even get into it. We ticked off the movie nerds and the space nerds.
I want to know. No, I need to know. Was it that we were wrong or we were close or what?
Yes.
So there was a little bit of everything. I love it.
Okay. Listen, this is just for fun. Don't take anything. That's right.
Yeah.
Don't take anything we have to say.
Follow the advice of the end of the Mystery Science Theater 3000 theme song.
Read to yourself, it's just a show. I should really just relax.
It's okay. It's okay for people to be wrong. Now, if you're friendly correcting us, that's fine.
They are. That's fine. It's just so much admonishment. It would take another podcast.
Cool. Well, we'll have to do that.
maybe
the admonishment podcast. No, I'm into it. I want the admonishment podcast.
I'll have to compile it all, and we'll just that's okay. The admonishment podcast. All right. Thank you to everyone for seeing us in the new year, and we hope to see you again in a week. So let's be careful out there. And adios.
Adios.
Arrivederci. Hasta la vista.
Adios.
Adios, muchachos, caballeros. Will you get out of here?
Now you gotta fight with it again. We gotta cut in a bell sound right here. Just ding ding.
I just can't believe the space stuff. That was like, oh my gosh. We're sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. We're sorry.
Don't take it so seriously. It was kind of like we're correct adjacent, but then there's always
tangentially correct.
There's always those people that, actually and technically and whatever, it's like, give us some credit for being. Yes, give us some credit for being close.
Right? Were we close enough that you could understand what we were saying? Well, yeah. Well, then we're good enough.
Right. Well, one of them was.
I don't have an astronomics degree from in physics and space work. Like, it doesn't work that way.
One of them was you don't have to be in geosynchronous orbit to be in outer space. For instance, the Starlink satellites are not geosynchronous; they're in low Earth.
No, they're in low orbit. No, and I referenced low Earth orbit.
Right, but it wasn't apparently clear enough. I don't know. We'll have to go back and listen to it and see.
I listened to it. I listened to it recently.
I love it. It's great.
It was never clear. It was never clear how high they were. But again, one of the first things I said was someone didn't study how escape velocity works.
I know.
Because you're not getting there in a plane.
I enjoy the comments. So.
No, I haven't seen any comments.